Tonight, Amazon grows again.
I just didn't expect it to be another Amazon.
What will be the biggest distribution centre in Canada going up in Ottawa's South End? But what will the impact be on the clogged streets of Barrhaven? It may hurt to pay to park at the hospital, but it may help too.
So long as the money is being used to fund hospital programs, that's fine.
Parking revenue at the Ottawa Hospital jumping to well over $27 million, but the money collected outside contributes in a big way to the work done inside. And we are one day away.
Kind of daydream saying, I wish I could be up there 8-9 years later. It really is a dream come true.
Whether you plan to be in the crowd for your 30th festival or you're stepping on stage for the first time, everyone is buzzing about Bluesfest. Good evening. The world's largest online retailer is expanding here in Ottawa. Amazon is building a third warehouse in the city's South End. It will be the company's largest distribution centre in the country. But Barrhaven residents are raising concerns about how it could impact traffic in the area. The new 5-story megastructure will be located on Bill Leatham Drive in East Barrhaven. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
Amazon's newest cutting-edge warehouse is breaking ground in South Ottawa, the largest in Canada. Just down the road from Mary Moore's house.
Not excited. I knew when we bought here that we had business that would go in. I just didn't expect it to be another Amazon.
The massive 3.1 million square foot facility is going up in East Barrhaven near Bill Leatham Drive and Maryville Road. 10 minutes down the road from Amazon's other massive fulfillment center.
Why the need for another one?
Residents, though, say the worry isn't the warehouse.
But the big thing that everybody's thinking about is, what about all these trucks? No question, it has to increase. You put 400 trucks in one place, getting loaded up every day and making deliveries somewhere.
Using arterial roads like Fallowfield and Maryvale, along with Prince of Wales and Woodruff Avenues. Steve Kaler expects major traffic impacts.
That's the issue in Barrhaven in general. We're growing so fast, but the infrastructure that is needed is not keeping up.
A public information session is expected to take place later this year. However, some residents question the purpose, given construction has already begun.
With the provincial changes in legislation in 2022, any development proposal that conforms with existing zoning, the authority to approve or deny it is delegated to city staff.
But residents may still have a voice.
There are some operational elements where Amazon can listen to be a better neighbor.
Amazon says the facility will serve customers across the country, but more details and job numbers will be released at a later date.
We have to think about our children getting ready for school and going out the door and down the road.
The capital's 5th Amazon Centre is slated for completion in 2026. Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
We all grumble about it. Some of us have even suggested we shouldn't have to do it at all. But while paying for parking at the Ottawa Hospital is a big pain, the growing revenue raised in the multi-millions may also be its own kind of medicine. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
I know it's high. I know all parking at hospitals are high.
Sisters Vicky and Willie Wilgress visit their brother at the Ottawa Hospital General Campus every day, looking for free parking on nearby streets to avoid the $8 cost to park for less than an hour.
And I don't want to pay that much. So if I can find an alternative, I don't mind walking a little bit in order to have free parking.
Daily visits mean daily fees, and for them, the cost quickly adds up.
If you're only going in for half an hour, it's not bad. But we're going in on a daily basis because our brother's in here. And that makes a big difference in the case of a week.
The Ottawa Hospital increased parking rates last October, and that contributed to an increase in parking revenue for the city's largest hospital. Revenue went from $25.5 million in fiscal 2023-2024 to $27.6 million in fiscal 2024-25 at the Civic, General, and Riverside campuses.
So long as the money is being used to fund hospital programs, that's fine.
And it is. In a statement from the Ottawa Hospital, they say, Parking revenues support key capital projects, much-needed updates and improvements to the parking facilities at all 3 campuses, as well as buying medical equipment and building new patient care environments. And even though many people choose to park for free on Linda Lane, they still say it's good to see the money going back into the hospital.
I think that's great, and I'm very happy for them because the hospital needs the money.
I don't mind that part because I know hospitals are strapped for money.
Good.
Why?
Why? Because they need the money, because we have the money.
While the Wilgress sisters are also glad to see the funds put to good use, they'd still rather save where they can.
We will always be looking for
Free parking.
Free parking, yeah.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Still ahead, if you look forward to this each year, your stomach may be grumbling this summer why Capital Ribfest is a no-go for 2025. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. A little gray out there right now. It is 25 degrees in the capital. We want to take our first look at the weather forecast. It was beautiful. We've heard reports of rain in the last little bit. Jackie, what are we looking at this evening?
Yeah, we're already hearing reports of rain in Barrhaven as well as Riverside South. So we are tracking it as it makes its way here to Ottawa. So what we are tracking is a bit of the unsettling weather moving towards eastern Ontario, and the conditions with the humidity and the hot weather, that could mean some isolated pop-up thunderstorms into this evening. So a closer look now at the next 24 hours. So later this evening, there is still the risk of the thunderstorm here for Ottawa, 23, but it's feeling muggy out and really sticky, so it's feeling closer to 30 with the humidity. As we look towards tomorrow, the humidity sticking around as well, starting off at 19 degrees, and really for most of the day, not just here in Ottawa, but also for all parts of eastern Ontario, that we could see a risk of thunderstorm really moving through. So what does that mean for Bluesfest? Well, gates are going to open up around 5 o'clock, so keeping an eye on that if we are expecting more rainfall on the way. So right now, temperatures sitting between 26 degrees and 27. So Cornwall at 27, down by Kingston, slightly cooler by the water at 23 degrees. And as we look towards Pembroke as well as Petawawa, temperatures sitting around 25. But again, we want to factor in that humidity, which will be sticking around well into the weekend, only easing off or tapering off by Monday, Tuesday, that we'll start to see temperatures cool off slightly. The humidity feeling closer to about 32, 33. So we will have a closer look at your forecast in just a bit. But right now we are tracking this weather that is making its way through with rainy conditions and the potential for a risk of thunderstorm. Patricia.
All right, Jackie, thank you. Well, a cyclist suffered serious injuries after he was struck by a pickup truck in Canada last night. It happened on Cope Drive near Terry Fox Drive just before 7 p.m. The 20-year-old man suffered head injuries and was brought to the trauma center in stable condition. A driver is facing charges after a fatal crash south of Eganville yesterday. It happened just after noon on Highway 41 between McGrath Road and Spring Creek Road. Police say vehicles were stopped near a construction zone when a driver struck them. 4 vehicles were involved in the crash. An 81-year-old man died at the scene. A 61-year-old Haliburton man is now facing several charges, including refusing to comply with a demand for a breath sample and driving with open liquor. One person is dead after 2 ATVs collided in Parham, north of Kingston. Police say the crash happened around 8 p.m. last Friday on McLean Road. One of the drivers, a 20-year-old man, died in hospital yesterday. The other driver, also 20, was given a breath test at the scene and received a 3-day license suspension for registering within the warning range. Well, a car fire has damaged a garage at an Orleans home. Several people called 911 last night reporting a vehicle on fire inside the garage of a house on Bois-Franc Circle. When crews arrived on scene, there was heavy smoke and flames coming from the garage. Firefighters helped evacuate several people from the home. No one was injured. They were able to stop the fire from spreading into the house. Well, thankfully, no one was injured when a car crashed into a downtown apartment building yesterday afternoon. First responders were called to Metcalfe Street near Cooper around 4:55 p.m. Ottawa Fire Services say a minor 2-vehicle collision caused one of the cars to jump the curb. It hit the building. The structural integrity of the front wall was compromised. Repairs are underway. The federal government is looking to cut what it calls unnecessary red tape across all departments. The Treasury Board president announcing today that all ministers will have 60 days to review regulatory responsibilities, saying cutting red tape is essential to unlocking Canada's full economic potential. Ministers are being asked to remove outdated regulation, reduce duplication with provincial rules, and make it easier to access and deliver services. The police are searching for suspects after multiple people were stabbed at the Calgary Stampede in what police are calling a targeted attack.
At this time, we believe the individuals involved in the altercation were known to each other. The victims are all related or known to each other, and they also knew the assailants. The motive behind the attack remains under investigation.
It happened around 11 p.m. local time last night. 3 men were found in different locations. Police say 2 of the victims are 18 years old, while the other is 50, and all 3 are currently in stable condition. Well, now to an incredible rescue in Paris, where a man is being called a hero after risking his own life to save multiple people from a burning building, including 2 babies. You can see the man standing on the narrow ledge outside a 6th-floor apartment window. As smoke billows out, he reaches out to grab the babies, then stretches out to hand the infants to safety in the other apartment. He continues to assist other trapped family members. The Paris police chief says he will be honored for his courage and dedication. Well, if you're a big fan of outdoor music, then holding a ticket to even one of the nights at one of Canada's biggest music festivals may have you pretty pumped. But as Bluesfest gets set to open tomorrow, imagine what you'd be feeling if you're a local musician about to step on one of those big stages at LeBreton Flats for the very first time. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live now with more. Caitlin.
Patricia, one local musician is describing it as a dream come true, and while major headliners like Lainey Wilson and Green Day are grabbing attention, it's local acts like DB Cohen who will help launch the party on opening night.
It's the biggest Canadian show of his career, one of several local acts selected to play Bluesfest. And for Dan Cohen, it's a full circle moment.
When I first came here, you kind of daydream saying, yeah, I wish I could be up there showing my wares. So, 8, 9 years later, it really is a dream come true.
His band, DB Cohen, will hit the River stage opening night. And while his bandmates have plenty of Bluesfest experience, for him, it's a first.
They can expect brass-laden ska, folk, and blues music, all original.
It's one of the biggest music events in the country, and this year the festival at LeBreton Flats is turning up the volume on what's new.
We've created this Mexican cantina called Casa Loco. It is on the street, so it's on the parkway, which will be closed for the festival, and it will feature an outdoor 100-foot outdoor patio.
A number of large screens will also be installed along the parkway for added viewing space, giving fans even more ways to enjoy the show. The 9-day festival kicks off Thursday, featuring 4 stages and a lineup that blends country, punk, hip-hop, and everything in between.
A lot of acts have coming for the first time. Lainey Wilson opening night. There's an act before them called the Red Clay Strays, which is a huge act. They're opening for Lainey, so a great kickoff.
With roughly 250,000 people expected to attend, organizers are urging fans to take public transit, which is included in the tickets. And as the stage lights up and the gates open, it will be artists like Cohen leading the charge, playing for the very crowd he used to be part of.
I feel very fortunate, and we'll be very excited to showcase an hour of our original tunes.
And it's not just the music. Festival goers can expect the return of the Crazy Horse Saloon along with the Mechanical Bull. A reminder as well, strict bag policies are in place and there's no re-entry once you're through the gates. Patricia?
A good reminder. And as Bluesfest kicks off tomorrow, we're going to have a chance to talk to Alan Doyle on News Talk 580 CFRA in the morning. Formerly with Great Big Sea, great musician, really good talker too. So I hope people can tune in for that.
For sure. Love that East Coast music.
Absolutely. Thanks, Caitlin. CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Well, families looking to depend on $10 a day childcare are somewhat having their hopes dashed tonight. A new report finds that many provinces are failing to meet the targeted timelines, and Ontario is certainly one of them. CTV's Stephen Keys joins us live with more on this. Steph.
Patricia, this news likely comes as a great disappointment to many families who may have been even planning the growth of their families around these targets. But we can let you know which provinces and territories are hitting the mark right now. Quebec, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Nunavut are all on track for what the feds were hoping for when it comes to $10 a day childcare. Now, along with Ontario, Nova Scotia, Alberta, British Columbia, and New Brunswick are not. Speaking with child care center owners over the years, some have said it does not make sense with their business model, and they haven't been given much incentive to join a program that could mess with their profit margins.
I think that one of the things that's getting in the way of meeting the targets is that some provinces, I think, are a bit shy about going all the way in meeting the target in the absence of certainty that funding is going to continue over the next 5 years and that federal funding is going to increase as costs for operating childcare increase.
We also know minimum wage amounts vary from province to province. And the report this morning suggests that provinces currently not on track could miss the target, even though there is still time. If you really think about it, the government's goal was to have $10 a day childcare in place for 2026. And even though here in Ontario, fees have been reduced drastically, getting to that much desired goal is looking very unlikely, according to the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. Patricia.
To the frustration of a lot of parents, CTV's Steph Key is live for us tonight. Thanks, Steph.
I would say it's very, very important for the city, especially during summertime. People really, really want to take advantage of that nice weather and they really want to explore the city.
It's a 4-day celebration of barbecue and music, but this year it's not happening. Why Capital Ribfest is a no-go and why City Hall may be the reason why. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. We are seeing a little bit of rainfall in parts of Ottawa, and we are also tracking this weather system that is moving into eastern Ontario that could bring with it some isolated thunderstorms. Those details after the break. But for now, here's a live look. There are Centennial Glass Skycam. It is 25 degrees out there right now, and the darker clouds have already started to roll in what most of the day was sunny, hot, and humid.
Ottawa is my home, and like many of you, I've always turned to CTV News for the latest local news. We cover the local stories that matter to you.
Live, local, breaking CTV News with Patricia Bowl.
A little bit damp out there on the Queensway, heavy in spots. O'Connor, Bronson both backed up a little bit tonight. Usual spots. It was a pretty heavy morning commute today as well, Wednesday. Typically the worst day of the week. Well, every year Capital Ribfest attracts hundreds of visitors to City Hall, but unfortunately the event will not be taking place this summer. Organizers say they've been forced to cancel because of upcoming construction at Marion Dewar Plaza. CTV's Sean Varden reports.
Capital Ribfest has been part of summer in the capital for more than a decade, bringing tens of thousands of visitors on the August-long weekend to the plaza at City Hall.
We know it's a big piece of, Ottawa tourism.
This week, organizers announced it's been canceled. The city is replacing the interlocking paving at Marion Dewar Plaza from mid-July until September. Capital Ribfest organizers saying they could not find another location in time for this year's event.
If the city wants this to remain a festival plaza and location and facility, then commit to that.
In a statement, the Director of Facility Operations for the city says in part, due to safety and accessibility concerns, the area will unfortunately not be made available for festivals during the construction period.
This just seems to be another one of those things that's adding to the coffin, if you will. And it's, nobody wants to go downtown anymore.
Organizers question why the city would schedule construction at the peak of the summer festival season, confirming they were notified in January of expected construction, but were not given any firm dates until weeks later.
Certainly discouraging for us to have something like the changing of pavers, interrupt something that has been really a key piece of Ottawa's sort of tourism puzzle.
We talk a lot, especially in our Community and Social Services Committee, about having these third spaces, these places where people can go, they can meet up, they can have fun, they can have a new experience. So I would say it's very, very important for the city, especially during summertime. People really, really want to take advantage of that nice weather and they really want to explore the city. So I hope it can come back next year.
Rideau Vanier councillor Stephanie Plante wants to see more events like this in the city and hopes they give her ward a closer look.
I'm going to make a point to contact Stephanie first thing in the morning.
Sean Varden, CTV News.
Well, it was a beautiful start to the day in the capital, but the weather is taking a bit of a turn tonight. Rain starting to come down in Canada about an hour ago. There is now a risk of thunderstorms in the forecast as we get the full forecast from Jackie tonight. I know you're going to be giving that Bluesfest forecast at this time over the next several days. If there's going to be an evening that's a little more unsettled, a few showers, maybe tonight is not so bad as opposed to opening night tomorrow and beyond.
That's right, Patricia. I mean, the last couple of days we've seen a little bit of the unsettling weather. Starting off today sunny, and then working its way into cloudier, darker conditions, and already the rain's starting to hit. So not just in Canada, but Barrhaven as well and Riverside South. We are tracking this weather system right now. The good news is that there isn't a severe thunderstorm warning or watch in effect, but areas like Barrie and then just northwest of Toronto, those alerts are in effect right now. So we are tracking that. And will we see that here? We're still keeping a close eye on that, but a risk of thunderstorm and heavy rainfall is in the forecast for into overnight and into tomorrow morning. But right now, temperature is sitting at 22 degrees, but with that humidity, it's feeling closer to 33 degrees. I don't see a little bit of rainfall right now here in the downtown core, but it could be on its way in the next hour or so. So we are tracking that as well. Tonight, overnight low is about 16 degrees. Also, the chance of showers moving in to Thursday, where temperatures are going to a daytime high of 26 degrees. But we did mention the humidity sticking around for not just today, but well into Sunday, Monday, and it should ease up by Tuesday. So it's going to feel closer to 33 as well. So stay hydrated, lather on some sunscreen as well, because yes, while tomorrow we are expecting some rain and rainfall, we are going to get some sunny conditions. That in just a bit. Right now, across the region, lows for tonight, 16, 17 degrees. So not just here in Ottawa, but very similar across the region. So pretty typical this time of year. As we look at tomorrow's highs, temperatures really sitting in the mid-20s. But again, factor in that humidity. You can see Kingston feeling more like 36 as opposed to the 28 that the temperature is going to read. Mont-Tremblant at 30 when it's 22 degrees, but feeling more like 30. And Montreal 27, feeling more like 34. Now, the rain we are tracking, it is making its way from North Bay as well as from over the Great Lakes, making its way here. So this evening, we could see heavier rainfall in the downtown core, making its way towards the Seaway. So Brockville and Cornwall could expect heavier rain. Tomorrow morning, parts of the valley, so Pembroke as well as Kingston, watch out for pop-up thunderstorms as well as pop-up showers in the early morning. Ottawa, we are in the clear for the morning, but again, throughout the day, you can see all the green moving through, and it's a little bit of light, so we could expect drizzle well into the evening and afternoon. So when the concert kicks off in the evening, it may be a little damp, a little bit of wet weather as well when the gates open. But the good news is it's expected to clear out by the evening and into Friday. So if you look across the country right now, temperatures are sitting in the mid-20s. You can see a lot of the yellows and the reds and oranges. There's a lot of hot weather that is coming through from the Midwest. So temperatures, the hottest areas right now in Canada, closer to Saskatchewan, so Regina at 32. Winnipeg at 27, and that air is really pushing its way here into Ontario as well as Quebec. Now, the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. We talk about a lot of that warm air pushing through from the south here into our region. So 25 the daytime high, but we'll feel closer to 30. But I'm loving Friday and Saturday because temperatures are going to be not just 30, 31 degrees, but it's going to be sunny conditions and dry conditions. So not only do we have a couple of festivals this weekend, we have Bluesfest, a Hope volleyball tournament is also taking place on Saturday. So conditions are looking pretty great. But then Sunday and even Monday, we could expect more rainy conditions on the way.
You will need to take a dip at Mooney's Bay if you're part of the Hope volleyball tournament.
How desperate are we?
Yeah, we try to avoid it on the 25-degree days. But yeah, that way we hold on to the heat into the evening at Bluesfest too, which is kind of nice. Maybe too hot out in the day, but at 9 o'clock at night, might feel pretty good. So,
yes.
Good stuff, thank you. And coming up, a look at how much it costs to rent an apartment in Ottawa this summer.
Tonight, a medical milestone in the evolution of robotic surgery.
I lost my mind. I think this was such a crazy accomplishment.
How this operation was performed without human help. Later on CTV National News.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, CTV Morning Live, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business. CTV News community and weather anchor Jackie Perez. Weeknights.
Canada's plan to rearm militarily with Europe is front and centre in Prime Minister Mark Carney's foreign policy. But according to a new report, the move threatens to provoke the U.S. president. CTV's Judy Trinh reports.
About 75% of the military equipment Canada uses comes from the United States. To reduce reliance, the Prime Minister signed a security pact with the European Union last month.
Our strategic Canada-EU or EU-Canada strategic partnership for the future will build a new and deeper relationship.
That new partnership with the EU could put Canada in the retaliatory crosshairs of the Americans, according to a new report written by former Canadian defense and security officials.
The U.S. might respond in a negative way and start canceling U.S. contracts to Canadian companies.
One pressing matter, the F-35s. Canada has paid for 16 American fighter jets. The government is evaluating if it should turn to the Swedish Gripen fighter instead for the rest of its order. But the U.S. ambassador has warned against doing that.
Canadians are flying one airplane. We're flying another airplane. It's no longer interchangeable. And so, that might even threaten NORAD.
The EU defense partnership also gives Canadian companies access to European markets. But the report's authors note some members can veto trade deals.
If you look at our free trade agreement that we have with Europe, a number of countries within Europe still have not ratified it.
The Europeans need critical minerals to build its defense capability. The report highlights regulatory barriers in provinces like BC, which could delay projects by years.
The authors stipulate that in the face of economic threats that could continue beyond the Trump administration, turning to European allies to help safeguard Canadian sovereignty isn't just a bold move, it's a necessary one. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, in tonight's big picture, there was an unexpected traffic jam in Ottawa last week. This gaggle of geese just trying to escape the rain took a while for the large group, there's a lot of them, to cross the Queen Elizabeth driveway near Dow's Lake. They did not seem to be in a rush or obviously care that they were holding up traffic. It's their road. Now some other stories you need to know right now. A new snapshot tonight of Ottawa's rental market. CTV's Stefan Keys is here, and Steph, you'd actually pay more to rent near those geese, much as they might kind of look like a pain. That's a pretty good neighborhood there.
It's waterfront property right there, Patricia. The cost to rent an apartment in the city did drop slightly in June, however, compared to May. But overall, Ottawa renters are paying much more than they were a few years ago, with the average rent up 15% over the past 3 years. The average rent was $2,199 in June, down from $2,239 in May. Canada continues to have one of the highest rent prices in the province outside of the GTA. The average cost to rent an apartment was $2,358 last month. In Ottawa, the average cost of a one-bedroom was nearly $2,000 last month, while a two-bedroom was $2,500.
Beautiful weather. Take a full breath in here.
It's back. A popular summer event has returned to Parliament Hill. Dozens of people rolling out their yoga mats on the Great Lawn today for a free yoga class led by a local studio. The weekly activity has not been held for a few years now, but it's back on Wednesdays at noon during the summer. All ability levels are welcome. The newly opened Kawartha Dairy ice cream shop on Carling Avenue is proving to be quite the popular spot. The shop offers up the company's popular Ontario-made ice cream. It's a drive-through location, and people can also order inside at the counter. Kawartha Dairy is headquartered in Bobcaygeon, Ontario, and is 100% Canadian-owned. This is the first location in the nation's capital. It opened at the end of June. The Canadian chocolate store Purdy's says the Buy Canadian movement has generated so much demand for its chocolate that it has decided to sell outside its own stores. And that's for the first time in its 118-year history. The confectionery company says website traffic jumped more than 200%, and searches about whether it is Canadian popped by a whopping 300% in the wake of U.S. tariffs. That gave the company the confidence to forge a deal with Pattison Food Group to put 4 varieties of Purdy's chocolates on the shelves of Western Canadian grocer Save On Foods. It is the end of an era on Parliament Hill. The last surviving cat of the cat colony has passed away. The cat named Cole died yesterday at the age of 17. Felines were brought to Parliament Hill in the early 1900s to keep down the rat population. The colony was closed in 2013 and the remaining cats were adopted. White-breasted nuthatch Gatineau has a new official bird. Residents have voted to make the pileated woodpecker the city's symbolic bird. It is being described rather as a tireless woodworker that evokes pride and lives in Gatineau year-round. In May, residents were invited to pick the city's official bird from 5 species. More than 4,100 people voted. And we know that contest had a lot of people contributing, Patricia, and definitely tested our bird knowledge as we like to quiz each other around here.
Yeah, that used to be a thing.
Used to be a thing. Don't bring it back.
And then they picked a bird that just likes to bang its head against the wall pretty much.
Yeah, likes to work really hard doing that.
Cute though. Good stuff, Steph. Thank you.
I tell them I want my money. She said, we don't have no money. You give me free money and we enjoying the money.
Well, just ahead, many people have investments with banks and other financial institutions and may be tempted to try private investing, but it can be risky and there's a chance you could lose everything.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boll.
Well, if you have guaranteed investments with your bank, you may make returns of 4 to 5% a year, and your money should be safe and secure. Some people hoping to make even more money choose private investing, but it can be risky. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
How much does $30,000 mean to you, Helen?
That's my life.
Helen Boodoo of Scarborough says it was a year and a half ago when someone she knew offered her the chance to invest in a landscaping company.
I said, fine, I don't mind. And then I go take out all my money from my bank and give it to them. And then now I'm broke.
Boodoo was told if she invested $30,000, she would get back her principal plus $3,000 interest in just 2 months. She had them sign a promissory note, but when it was time for her funds to be returned, she was told the money was gone.
I tell them I want my money. She said, we don't have no money. You give me free money and we enjoying the money. I cry every day. Every day I cry.
I'll park some money there and just try something different than stocks and bonds.
Nick Hatzimalis of Richmond Hill saw an opportunity to invest in real estate. He invested $60,000 and was told he would receive interest payments for a year and a half and then get back his entire amount. He did receive some monthly payments, but they stopped, and now he's worried his entire investment is in jeopardy.
Now I'm in a position where I can't get my money back. At least not anytime soon. I took that gamble and it bit me.
Remember that your money is going out there. Remember to be safe. Get a third-party opinion.
Marani Law, a firm that helps investors with private lending, says there are risks involved and you need to do your research carefully before investing.
Go to a lawyer or somebody in the industry who's able to review the documentation before you release your funds.
Boodoo went to court to try and get her money back, but her case is at a standstill. Hatzimalis is hopeful his funds will eventually be returned, but both regret trying private investing.
I'm 73 years old, and that is all I living on, and they don't want to pay me. So what am I supposed to do?
That's what I was going for, something safe, something that I knew I was going to get my money back. I probably would have been better off just putting in a GIC.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
NVIDIA hit a milestone today. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has the details on that and the day's other business headlines.
NVIDIA has become the most valuable company in history. It's the first to be valued at more than $4 trillion, hitting that mark during the course of the trading day. The tech company's stock is up 22% this year. Its chips vital to the rollout of artificial intelligence. The previous record was held by Apple, which soared to $3.9 billion in market cap in December of 2024. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar dropped slightly to 73.03. West Texas Intermediate also had a small dip to 68.60. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up 54 cents to 56.30. And the TSX is up 68 points today, ending the day at 26,972. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
What's this going to look like for a country like Canada? Is this going to bring down wait times? Is this going to raise efficiency? It may.
Well, just ahead, a robot performs realistic surgery without human help for the first time, opening up new possibilities in the future of healthcare.
Ottawa is always on the move.
We're a big city
with a laid-back vibe.
Where foodies love their sweets.
And markets bursting with flavor.
Wrapped up in waterways.
And hot summer days.
This is a city where culture is on display.
And the future
meets the past.
Where people come together.
Always proud.
Often loud. Whee!
And positively the best place to live.
We move with you, Ottawa!
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Bowl.
What's a big development at the intersection of healthcare, robots, and artificial intelligence? And a warning, the images in this story may be hard to watch if you're squeamish. For the very first time, a robot successfully performed surgery without any human help. While the surgery was on a dead pig, researchers are calling this a major accomplishment. Here's CTV's Abigail Beeman.
We successfully completed all 8 ex vivo studies without any human intervention.
You're watching a robot perform realistic surgery without human help for the very first time.
I lost my mind. I think this was such a crazy accomplishment.
Lead study author Ji Woong Brian Kim couldn't believe it, watching the robot, called SRTH, successfully perform a gallbladder surgery on a dead pig. Built and trained with the same architecture that powers ChatGPT, SRTH watched videos of surgeons at work.
It's a model that's actually learned and actually kind of understands the surgery rather than, being just pre-programmed.
While no human intervention was needed, there is a human who can override the robot if necessary.
Our goal is not to replace surgeons. We want to just make the surgery easier so that surgeons can perform more surgeries, fewer complications.
As long as the robot has the data, researchers say it should be able to perform any kind of surgery. They're already working on next steps. To get ready to operate on a live pig, this is a simulation with food coloring to imitate blood.
First thing that strikes me as an ethicist is consent.
Bioethicist Carrie Bowman says we need more data and research as AI in healthcare moves forward.
What's this going to look like for a country like Canada? Is this going to bring down wait times? Is this going to raise efficiency? It may. I'd like to keep an open mind about this.
As for when robots could perform surgeries on humans, researchers say that's still a number of years away. But experts warn AI is moving fast, and we need to be ready by answering all the difficult questions around its use. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, you've likely heard of Ozempic, a big player in the weight loss market, and the field is getting increasingly crowded. There's a new weight loss drug on the market in Canada now that research has shown packs a powerful punch. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
The new injectable drug is called tirzepatide and is marketed as Zepbound.
For Obesity Canada, we're excited about anything that improves access and understanding around the disease of obesity. So having more treatment options is nothing but a great thing.
In the big trial that they actually did, patients who were at the highest dose lost about 48 pounds. So that's about 22% of their overall weight change. Whereas with the Wegovy product, we're seeing about a 17% change in weight.
Dr. Sean Wharton points out that's in people who started with an already elevated weight. Health Canada has approved Zepbound for people who are obese or who suffer from complications due to excess weight.
So type 2 diabetes, osteoarthritis, or there's a lot of other complications of those white adipose fat cells that sit mainly in that central area, right? And they increase the risk of a heart attack and high blood pressure and a number of other things.
The biggest misconception that people have about obesity is that it's about personal choice and that it's about a lack of willpower or laziness. And we fundamentally know that that is not true. Obesity is a really complex, chronic disease that people will live with for their entire lives.
Both Obesity Canada and Dr. Wharton say it's not about achieving a movie star figure. People with a large frame don't need weight loss drugs. if they are healthy. Provincial funding for Zepbound is still being decided. Zepbound can have side effects, but those usually fade with time.
We're talking about having some nausea or having loose stools. So those are the common ones, but those are transient.
And Lisa Schaefer says her own mother is allergic to tirzepatide, so she can't take Zepbound. That's why having many options is so important. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Well, coming up, thrill-seeking for the young at heart. Long-term care residents and the OPP team up for a summer tradition in Lanark County. Jackie.
Thanks, Patricia. Heavy rain already falling in parts of Ottawa. It's expected to continue into the evening. We may even see heavier rainfall into the overnight. And then when we look at Thursday, Bluesfest opening day, there is a chance that we could see some scattered showers periodically. And then for Friday, though, the good news, we are in for some hot, dry, and sunnier conditions. Those details in a bit. For now, let's take a look at Kaweki Point, and not as, the site isn't as beautiful as it normally is when the sun is shining, but still a great place to check out the views. 25 degrees, but with the humidity feeling closer to 33.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Bowl.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Sanaya Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, the #1 Ford EV dealer in Ontario.
Thursday on CTV Morning Live, Bluesfest gets underway. We break down what you need to know about all the shows and how to get to LeBreton Flats.
And our great grilling week continues as we taste some great local barbecue sauces you can buy.
Oh, I can taste it already. Wake up the right way with CTV Morning Live starting at 6.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, The Big Bang Theory, Master Chef, Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service, and Battle of the Generations. Here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
There are some operational elements where Amazon can listen to be a better neighbor.
Amazon is building its largest distribution facility in the country in Barrhaven, but some residents there are raising concerns about how it will impact traffic in the area.
We're going in on a daily basis, our brothers in here, and that makes a big difference.
Parking fees are generating millions of dollars in revenue for Ottawa's hospital, which took in more than $27 million last fiscal year.
They can expect brass-laden ska, folk and blues music.
Ottawa Bluesfest kicks off tomorrow with tons of local acts and big stars set to take the stage over the next 2 weeks. Can't wait. Love this time of year. And how will the weather cooperate?
Yes, that's something that we love to keep an eye on as well, especially for this time of year. And we are expecting some scattered showers for tomorrow. So when we look at the temperatures, yes, it's still going to have fair weather in terms of temperature, 19 degrees to start the day. The humidity will be sticking around, so it's going to be muggy and sticky for most of the Thursday. And we're getting to a daytime high about 25, but it will feel closer to about 33 by the time the concert gets underway and the Music Fest gets underway. There is a chance of the scattered showers, as mentioned, periodically throughout Thursday. But I really want to focus on Friday and Saturday because 30-degree temperature, sunny, dry conditions, blue skies, and again, lots going on. And with a lot of people off on the Saturday, want to be out and about because by the time Sunday and Monday roll around, we're getting more wet weather. And the good news is, yes, we are trending into temperatures in the 30-degree mark, but we are going to see a decrease in the humidity by the time Monday, Tuesday roll around. Patricia.
Good news for some, not for others, but for Steph Keys and I, yes, love the heat.
Sure is.
Looking ahead to the 11:30 tonight, Steph?
Yeah, we have lots on the go, Patricia. One farmhouse owner is making an investment that may not necessarily turn into a cash cow, so to speak, but it's definitely a unique venture that could bring a new look to the cattle community in this part of the country. Christy Somerville is a business owner who loves bovine and Texas, so much so she has invested in bringing the Texas Longhorn home. The breed is more ornamental in nature. You don't usually see it in this part of the continent. Now, one horn can be the length of a hockey stick. The beef itself is of average value, but the horns and hide are well sought after. You kind of look after them as though they're horses, so you watch them grow up, and we'll tell you more about her full plans tonight at 11:30. And of course, you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Patricia.
That was pretty sweet. And so is this. Finally for us tonight, long-term care residents in Lanark County were sliding into summer this week. This is the annual Slip and Slide with the OPP event at Lanark Lodge. So members of the Lanark County OPP, Auxiliary, and the Perth Fire Department are all out there helping to safely pull residents in a tube down the slide. That's the way to do it. The recreation manager says it's the event of the summer and a reminder that thrill-seeking is not just for the young, but also the young at heart. Absolutely.
They should have given me a call. I was looking for a workout today.
Oh, you want to do the pulling? I was going to say you're not old enough to get a ride.
No, I don't want to do the pulling.
You could take
Absolutely, yeah. Set up a camera on that.
There you go.
She'll be easier to pull.